Hi guys, Tamara here from Create Your Future. I am a law of assumption coach here as well as a psychologist. And today, guys, I have a really important story to tell you as well as a message for you all. My question is, do you sometimes feel like you have to do more, script more, visualize just a little bit, affirm a little bit more, otherwise it won't happen? Don't worry, it's totally normal. It happens to everybody. And it's a trick your mind plays on you. It's not real. And I'm going to explain why this happens and what you need to do if it happens to you. So stay tuned. Anyway, I was inspired by a session I had yesterday with a new client. She came to me with a story of not being loved, not being supported by neither her SB nor his entire family. And I said, okay, I want to hear the whole story. Tell me the old story. Why do you think that is? Why do you think this is happening? And when did this start? When did you notice this? And the only reason, guys, why we have to ask about the old story is in order to help you shift properly. I need to know where you have been dwelling for the past couple of months, years, days, doesn't matter. In order to change the story, I need to know where your awareness, where your I am is now, okay? So I ask her, tell me the story about his family, tell me the story about the event that happened 2 years ago, what happened, why did you feel guilty and embarrassed, and we are going to revise it. Because that was the triggering point of every other fight she had with SB and his family, in the future. So what happened was, 2 years ago, it was her SP's mom's birthday. And they all went to a restaurant they loved. And when she saw the menu, she realized there was nothing on it she wasn't allergic to. So a little bit of backstory. My client is allergic to gluten. She's gluten-free. There was nothing gluten-free on the menu. So she was kind of feeling peer pressured into ordering something they were all eating. So she ordered, and she had a full-on panic attack when she tried eating it. She was crying, she was shivering, and instead of being supportive and helping her calm down, the whole family, including her SB, kind of brushed it off and even made fun of her. Called her a drama queen. Why does she have to do that all the time? Is this like attention-seeking act? Basically, nobody supported her. She felt so alone, misunderstood, and totally rejected. From that point onwards, every time there was any kind of family gathering, any kind of social event they all went to, birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas parties, similar things happened over and over again. She would hear people, for example, his mom and his sister, talking behind her back. She would have a fight with her SB every time there was some kind of gathering, family gathering. And I said, okay, I think we know what happened. I think we know what the trigger was for this kind of state and therefore the behavior. Let's go back and let's remember your new truth. And she said, how? Let's say we are going to do revision first. So I guided her. She told me all the details of the event, what happened at the restaurant, and I said, okay, now you're going to tell me the same story about her mom's birthday, but this time you're going to change the details so they match your new state. So what you wish could have happened that night. And she said, okay. And then we went through the revision. She remembered her new truth. They were at a restaurant. There was totally different menu. She had something she loved to eat. Everybody was smiling. Her SP was holding her hand. They paid a bill. They left the place. And I asked her, how do you feel about this? She said, amazing. I feel totally relieved just by revising this very triggering memory for her. And I said, perfect. Okay, let's go back to now. And tell me, if you had to pick one word to describe your SP, the current version, what would it be? She said, nitpicky. She's so nitpicky, Tamara. And I said, okay, we're going to change this version into more supportive, understanding, and loving. So I asked her, and I always do this, guys. I'm not going to make you script if you don't like writing, like me. Or I'm not going to make you visualize if it's not natural for you. The point of having a coach is to tailor specific methods of getting into the state and staying there. That's going to feel the most natural and fun for you. So I asked her as well, okay, how do you feel about visualizing? How do you feel about inner conversations? How do you feel about scripting? And she said, most of the time I talk to a friend of mine or I self-soothe. I said, okay, who is this friend? And she said, she's one of my best friends. And her name? I said, okay, how do you feel about talking to your friend and telling her the new story about your SB and your relationship? And she said, great, let's do this. So I asked her to invoke the presence of her best friend, hear her voice, and guys, you don't have to overcomplicate this process, okay? Your mind knows who you're talking to, okay? You don't have to worry about, oh my God, is this the right frequency of their voice or depth, or is this their voice I'm hearing or somebody else's? No. So if I ask you now, guys, to tell me, hear your mom telling you happy birthday. Now hear your best friend. Now hear your SP. You have all different people in your mind, right? So you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, am I like visualizing them correctly? Is this the right person? Is this voice? None of that. You're going to simply remember the person, invoke their presence, simply by putting awareness on that person, okay? And I ask her, put your awareness on your best friend. What is she saying? She said she's saying hi, she's asking me how I am, how my SB is. I said, great, that's a good start. Now, you're going to tell her your new story about your SB and your relationship. And she said, fine. And she did that for a minute or two. And then I asked her, okay, now that you had this experience, tell me what happened. What did you tell your best friend? What is your SP like? Tell me the story. Who are you now? And she said, I'm so happy. My SP is so supportive. He's there for me all the time. He's very understanding and loving. I've never been with this kind of man before. And I said, perfect. There you go. You shifted. And then she asked, okay, so what do I need to do? Like, what affirmation do I have to say? And I said, what affirmation? She said, well, if I'm feeling like a little bit doubtful, if I have negative thoughts or feelings, if I'm feeling a little bit icky, like, is there affirmation I have to say, like, to make this happen? I said, to make what happen? You just told me about the experience you had with a friend, your conversation. You told me your new truth. What more do you need to do? And she smiled and she said, okay, I get it. So guys, your mind is going to play this trick on you. And this is coming from the old state of mind, okay? An old self. Your old man, the old state, is gonna come back to remind you of what you were before. This state is going to bring some doubts or fears or negative thoughts and feelings. You're going to feel like, oh my God, I haven't done enough, or I haven't done it properly. I have to do more. I have to do something else. Stop. Just stop. There's nothing more you have to do. I promise you guys. Nothing more. The only thing you're going to do when this happens, number one, you're going to see those thoughts and emotions for what they are, just a residue of the old state, trying to lure you back, trying to sell you the old story. Don't buy into them. Don't buy into them, guys. Your awareness, your I am, is more powerful than any negative story, any thought, any doubt, any bad feeling. Okay? You're going to dissociate from these. You're going to see them for what they are. Your old self, the old states, and nothing more. And then you're going to gently remind yourself of who you are. In case of my client, I told her, you just experienced telling your best friend who you are, about your new state. You're going to remember. You can play a 2-second clip in your mind if you want to. You're going to remember this experience, this conversation with your friend, and what you claimed about yourself and about your SP. And she said, just that? And I said, yes. Guys, nothing more is needed, okay? This is not a trying process. This is not a thing you have to do on your to-do list to check it off and be on your way. It's not homework. And I hate the word homework when it comes to coaching or the law of assumption, because people feel pressured, or they think if they do X, Y, and Z 5 times a day, then they're going to get what they want. And unless they do that, or they do more, then they haven't done enough. Nothing's ever going to change. That's a lie. That's not true, guys. It's a lie. Your old state, your old self is trying to sell you. Okay? So, once you have chosen how you're going to experience your new self, it's up to you. What feels natural to you the most? Is it scripting? Then do it. Is it visualizing? Then visualize. Is it affirming? Then affirm your new state. To experience it, not to get something out there, but to have a real life experience in here. Because you have power and you have choice to do so. That is going to shift your state. And that is going to eventually push out in the 3D. Once you have done that, visualizing, scripting, affirming, whatever, once you have become aware of who you are now, your new self, you're going to just let it go. And when I said let it go, I don't mean let go of your desire. I mean let go of doing, visualizing, scripting. You have done it. You have just experienced this. Now come back to the present moment. And this is very useful, guys, and very important. Maybe some of you are familiar with Eckhart Tolle. He's a German or Swiss spiritualist. And he said, the cause of all pain in human beings is not living in the present moment. Most of us are always worried about the past, the future. Have I done enough? In this case, have I done enough? Is there something more I have to do? No. You're going to do your practice, become aware, remind yourself of who you are, then come back to the present moment. Are you playing with your kids? Be there for them. Are you cooking? Pay attention. What are you seeing in the pan? What kind of spices you smell in the air? What does it taste like? Be there in the present moment, guys, and allow things to happen, because you have done enough. You have experienced it. There's nothing else left to do. Okay? You got this, guys. I hope this video was educational and informative and helpful for you guys. If you want to talk about your specific situation, I'm here for one-on-one coaching, and because I'm new at Create Your Future, we have promo rates for my sessions. So come meet me, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. Okay? Have a nice weekend. Bye.